Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn. Here are your hosts, Bryan Colbert Jr. and Logan Paulsen.
Welcome into the Game Plan. Logan, this one's extra special. NFC wild card, baby. We are in the playoffs. We catch up with head coach Dan Quinn and talk all about our matchup today in Tampa Bay.
And we head in the film room to talk winning time moments and if they can get one today against Tampa Bay.
And we're talking matchups as always to end the show. And hopefully these matchups help us get the advantage and get this W today out in Tampa. All that and more
on the Game Plan.
Welcoming in head coach to the Game Plan, Dan Quinn. You made it to the playoffs in your first year. How great does that feel, especially doing it in your first year with the Commanders?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's good to be on with you guys and our postseason editions.
Yes,
so we need to have some more. So
yes,
it's all good, man. The guys are doing well, and the energy does ramp up, and that's natural, you know, when you get to the postseason and using that energy and make it normal to know that, like, hey, it's the execution, the focus, the going into it. But yeah, we're ready to rip, man.
I imagine you're in kind of a unique position, having been there a couple times. Like, how do you kind of draw on that experience to kind of say, hey, this is some things to expect. This is some things we should be thinking about in the postseason?
First thing I did was, hey, man, the weeks are all planned out for you. You don't have to worry about anything. All you have to worry about, and I actually showed the calendar, like, that's all squared away. All you have to do is this week.
I love that, man.
And just make sure that's all that matters, man. Like, when you get into a tournament setting, it's all it is. Yeah. This game, this matchup, how do you dig in, the focus for the game plan, and use that energy, a little turbo boost, you know, it's a good thing for you. And so knowing that that's normal to have that kind of good energy and then put it right back into the plan, how you're going to play, how you're going to play better, the game plan. And so, make it feel a normal energy, like you're supposed to have a little more.
Right. A little more juice.
Yeah. And Coach will be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. Face them in week 1.
Yep.
I know this is a loaded question, but what's changed since then?
Well, it's very rare that you get to go full circle in one season. That's not a division opponent. And so I think it's interesting. Started our season with there, and we're beginning our second season there. And so I hope a lot's changed in 18 weeks. I know we're not the same, but it's a great measuring stick to see how much we have improved and the things we've gotten better at. The scheme, we knew that would develop, but to see the players, their connection, their love for one another, how hard they play, situation football, that's something that I couldn't tell them 18 weeks from now, you're going to get a lot better, you know, but I knew that they had a lot of areas that we would grow. And now that we've been through some tests together, they're a tough team, no doubt about it. But we're not also the same team from that week.
And so, like, how do you look at the eval? You know, because like week 1 seems like a lifetime ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're evaluating Tampa Bay, you're like, oh, these are some things they did well that we can kind of make sure we double click on in the week of practice. Or you say, hey, that was so long ago. They've changed a lot too. Like, where do you draw that line in terms of kind of getting ready for the game?
You want to make use the game, obviously, but you also want to make sure that nothing's going to be just rinse and repeat.
Sure.
These are some concepts they did. This was successful. I would expect them to try that again. Mm-hmm. These are also a number of things on all 3 phases over the last, 17 weeks that we've got to be prepared for. But like most things, the slogan in the postseason, like it's the explosive plays and tackling and things that
it's your fundamentals, really.
Yeah, and that's why we do work so hard at that. So when we do get to this time of season, you're not making things up. So it's like I went in Monday and said, I had a great idea. We're going to change a bunch of things up this week. We're going to practice at night. And they were kind of looking at me like with their head tilted. I said, no, man, I'm just bullshitting you. Like, we're going to do everything in the same fashion, what we do on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, and knowing that, when that gets you ready to play.
Mm. And our rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, has looked so impressive this year, but now this is his first time on that big playoff stage. What has been your messaging to him as we go into today's game?
More than anything, he's got some really good leaders around him too. Hey, this is what you should expect. There'll be some more heightened media and that type of thing, but this is a guy that has handled a lot, in the last few years. Mm-hmm. And so I've got a lot of confidence in him, a lot of belief and trust based on the work that he's done with us. And so he doesn't have to put the cape on. Those cape moments will come, and he'll deliver in those times. So he's got a bunch of good guys here to, distribute the ball and do all the things. So he's just got to play unique to himself.
I'm glad you said that, because I think, like when you look at his season, it's been really special. And he's a guy that just seems to kind of match the moment in a really special way. If you coach anybody else that's kind of had that knack, because it does seem like a skill to a certain extent to be able to get that done.
There's definitely an X factor to his game. There's no doubt about it. It's a scramble on a third or a fourth down. It's making a play in the crucial moment. I do think a lot of that comes, Logan, from the preparation. Like he really puts it in. So in these moments, we called this play. We're ready for this one. So he has a little bit of a combination of the preparation, which allows you to be confident. And then also like the competitor does take over in some of those moments. And he has been in a lot of those.
And Coach, we talked a lot about all season winning that battle in the trenches. Well, the Bucs, they have a really tough rushing attack. Really tough rushing defense. We have a really tough rushing attack. How do we get that going against a defense like that?
Yeah, it's they're very unique in that way. They're aggressive. They blitz a lot. And so the size alone inside. So you have to be able to find some lanes and find some space for us to get our backs outside, to get our quarterback on the run as well. And so the run game in this one will be everybody involved, from receivers, running backs, tight ends, the blocking, the quarterbacks, carrying out fakes, carrying the ball. And so knowing that it takes all 11, there'll be some balance with that. But you're right. It's an excellent front.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that sticks out to me about this season is I feel like Cliff and Anthony Lynn have done a great job kind of schematically getting the guys ready each week, trying to find those little wrinkles to say, hey, this is where we can gain an inch. Can you talk about their role in making sure these guys are ready to rock and roll?
And as you know, that some teams play 4-down structure, 5-down structure. In a blitzing team, you want to have some rules that you can follow clearly. This person's not normally there. Why is the next person here? And so knowing there's some ones by a structure, this is the run that we can call. And if we don't like it, hey, let's get out of that run and get into a play that we like. And we call those premier looks. And so if we can get to a run of something that we like, that's at the line of scrimmage, and that's part of being in no huddle. You can get to some looks that you like and maybe not run into some that you don't. And so having the balance to be able to do both of those, that's a big deal. And then a team that blitzes a lot, RPOs are a factor.
Yeah.
If you're going to blitz, you've got to be able to make somebody pay.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting, because I think fans just think, oh, you just got to run your runs. But the idea that you can kind of play that chess checkers game beforehand, I think is really, it's huge. I didn't really think about that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun of being at the line of scrimmage and working through it. But there's a whole complement of plays that go, with certain looks, and the reps over and over and over again, you really dig into it.
And before we move on to the defense, we have to give 1-7 Terry McLaurin his flowers. Made history, 13th touchdown, but the way he did it in the final seconds of the game, how do you take that momentum from such a big play and bring it into tonight's game?
And I think so many people, because of Terry's history, have the vision of all the deep ball throws, and that's a good thing. He's also excellent as contested catches.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got really strong hands, and that's what playing receiver in our league a lot of times is like. It has to be thrown to a certain spot. The defender's going to make, and he has such an aggressive nature to go get the ball. I think that's an appreciated part of his game, because we see so many big, long shot plays, but he had some third downs that were absolutely critical for us.
I got him on the film, Coach. Don't you worry. I got him on the film, man, because they're big, huge play.
I'm all about the flowers, man.
Yeah, give them to him. Give them out. That's exactly right. But but I think to see him in that moment, kind of do what he's done all year. What was the locker room like for him? Because again, that's a pretty prestigious record. There's some pretty big names on that list.
Yes, that's what in fact, I told him, we were just sitting at his locker after the game. I said, we've been playing football for a long time around here. There's some black and white photos out in that hallway. I said, so to have your name at the top of that list with some real heavy hitters, job well done.
Yeah, no doubt.
And our defense, we've seen them. We talk about Jaden's progression. We've seen our defense progress each and every week. Now they're going against Baker Mayfield and all of these weapons. How do you best prepare them? How have you prepared them for such a tough battle tonight?
Yeah, it is a tough battle, and but it is the improvement that you see. I think of a guy like Sainer still, that continues to level up his game and again and again. And so that type of improvement, when we're talking about where were we from week 1 to week 18, it's players like Mike that are making significant jumps in their game to show their improvement, and Frankie's and Quan's, and there's a number of others I could list, Jeremy Chin. And so to see them develop, I think that's a big piece to this, in their preparation and how they get ready.
It's so funny you mentioned all those names, because to me, when you watch the first game compared to, even the Dallas game, just the structure of the defense and what guys are doing is so much, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think just like the development of everybody kind of understanding their role and finding opportunities has been really cool. And it's funny when people say, oh, what's different from week 1 to now? It's like kind of everything, you know?
That's right. And give a lot of credit to Joe and the guys to understand how to feature guys, put them in the right spots, and doing the things that we do well. And it'll be a battle. They all are. Yeah. But like I said, that's what's fun about the playoffs is like everything that you put in is just this game. It's just this matchup. And if you do that and you trust all the training and you go into that, by the time you get to Sunday, man, like I'm ready for this game to get rolling.
And Coach, I'm sure you felt it on the road, at home, how much the success of this team means to this community, means to the DMV. Yeah. Can you give a message in closing to the fans for their first time being in the playoffs since 2020? Can you give a message to the best fans in the NFL? That is wild.
It is. And I felt it more than any other game 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night against Atlanta. Yeah. It was special, man, to be on the field and to feel that type of energy behind the team. It's exactly what I hoped, the team and the fans, that type of connection could take place. And so to see it come full circle for that was like a highlight for me to know that was there. And then the second part of that, after, to see burgundy and gold at AT&T last week coming off the field, like for Adam and I, that was a really big deal to see, our fans there in Texas, knowing like they've got a big stadium and usually not a whole lot of other teams are in there. And so to see at the end all the burgundy and gold as the team was walking off the field, that meant a hell of a lot to us.
It's crazy how life works. You got a standing ovation in that arena by burgundy and gold fans. Coach, it's been so great to see what you guys have done. Congratulations. We can't wait to see the game tonight. And I'm excited to see y'all get in the film room. Logan's already teasing it up. Yeah. Let's get y'all in the film room. Appreciate you, Coach.
Let's get on this plane and get down there.
Always great hearing from Coach. Now, let's hear a little more about today's matchup. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now, here's a look at the upcoming competition for the Commanders. They will be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out in Tampa for some Sunday night football. Last time we played them, it didn't go our way, but as Dan Quinn said, we are a different team than week 1. Now stay right there, Commanders fans. Logan and Coach Quinn will head into the film room right after this break to preview more of this exciting wild card playoff matchup against the Bucs. And later on in the show, Logan and I will talk about the matches we are looking forward to watching today.
You're watching The Game Plan, presented by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And by Marsh McLennan Agency, official employee benefits partner of the Washington Commanders. And by Cognier Technology, secure today, shape tomorrow.
Welcome back into the Game Plan. It's time to go inside the film room. Brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly.
Coach, man, I'm so excited to talk about this playoff game and what's some stuff we can take away from this Dallas game. And the one thing that just jumped out to me right away was winning time moments, man. Wow. And the way you handled this last 2 minutes of the game, I thought was pretty masterful. And obviously, great job by our guy Marcus, man, coming in and doing an excellent job, really fantastic. And so this first play, something you talked about in the long interview was just Terry making plays. You got a little kind of bow concept here: sit, dig, and really the DB plays this pretty well, actually.
Yeah,
and
this is contested all the way. You're exactly right. It's a 5-man pressure, and so the in-breaker onto this one, I thought, good protection, number one, by the offensive line, allows Marcus to step up and to rip. But that's Terry, and the contested catches of going through it, that is a really big play.
And this is a crazy play because it gets you to kind of a fourth and short situation. And again, it sets this play up. And this is one of those plays where it's like one of the best plays you've had all year is kind of this zone read situation where you're kind of isolating, Micah Parsons, you don't have to block him. And when I see this, man, I got a little nervous because this does not look great because you're attacking the mesh, you're bringing someone around, and just great execution by Marcus here.
X factor is Marcus. And so this is a blitz designed for zone read, but the mesh by him and to take it and deliver, that's a big play.
I love how tight he keeps it, kind of like, usually that ball comes out here, but seeing it, making a play. And this is one of my favorite things, just kind of a funny little detail you see when you're watching the film, is he's got his hand up like game over.
That's a good play fake. That's a sign of a good play fake.
Good play fake. And I don't know about this, but I didn't know he had this kind of juice left in those legs.
Still got legs to go. And it's funny, all of a sudden you change your mindset, Logan, from getting into field goal range to get to a tie, to now changing things to where you got still time. You can, get a shot down the field. You can get back and clock it. So everything was still available, but he is the one that made this play take place.
I didn't even think about that, because you're right. It totally changes the dynamic. This explosive play gives you the opportunity, because then you get the ball down here, 23 seconds, able to work kind of a situation that every team works, but doesn't always get to hit. 23 seconds left. You can stop the clock, right, with a knee, because there's enough time in between, and really just awesome execution.
Yeah, so once you hit the time parameters, now we're into the scale. So good job here by Zach, getting open, gets the catch after the tackle, get down, get it spotted as quickly as you can, knowing there would be another play on the next one.
Yeah, and so then they end up able to take a knee, right, which was a really fantastic job, just kind of by everybody, kind of running up, getting to the football. And then I get here, and I was kind of thinking back to my old rules, and there's 6 seconds left in the game. And, I was like, maybe they need 8, I don't know, but really being locked in the situation here is a big deal.
Yeah, we've been in this one quite a few times, and so knowing where you're at on the field, Logan, this one has a no-hitch element to it to say, we call it O-zone, meaning it has to be either out of bounds or in the end zone. There can be no scramble, there can be no other moving around, because if you did, you could lose the end of the half and not have your shot at it. So you get one shot at it here. They absolutely delivered. If they hadn't, we would have had to kick the field goal to tie it on the next play.
You were saying something like you have different time parameters based on the yard line you're in, which I've never heard that before. I think it's really good football.
So we know where we're at certain parts of the field. This is the time for here. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. And that way, we don't have to wonder if we can make it or not. We've trained the guys into those spaces. So once we hit the markers, then we know how to adjust and play.
Because I was going to say, a play that works, at 6 seconds doesn't work if you run it from here, because you're going to be overdone, and then you lose the shot for a field goal. And here you really get to kind of double dip, which was great.
Yeah, so you take your shot if it's not there. And even if it hadn't been available and it's incomplete, like you said, you still have another play on the next one. And that could have been the instance of whether you wanted to go for it, to try to get to the win, or to kick it, for the tie.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the situation here, but I mean, this guy's special, this throw is special, and this is a record-breaking play for him, and something you can kind of carry into the playoffs, which is pretty fantastic.
All the unseen work, it's protection, it's guys stepping up to make plays, and but on this one, man-to-man coverage, they're working back out to get to Zach, which is a smart idea,
decision, right?
Based on his history, but the one-on-one and the matchup to go and take your shot at it to a guy who's absolutely a dog competitor, and as the corner is as well. This is
just a great
classic
play by two.
NFL matchup, man.
And it's funny, I didn't even notice this, but you just say, look at the protection. They're running this little game inside, which is designed to create pressure immediately. And great job by Austin stepping up, and it really takes all 11 guys doing what they're supposed to do to get a result like this.
And that's what winning time is all about. Just trusting your training, knowing you've been in this space. This is the way we want to execute when the time calls for it.
Yeah, Coach, it gets our pulses up when you're in situations like this, but I love that you guys have such a mastery of it, and I can't wait to watch you guys do it today against Tampa.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, Coach and Logan. Now it's time for your Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudon's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. Now, this week's Prime Player is wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Last week, Terry broke the franchise record for most touchdowns in a season with 13. What made that record-breaking performance even more impressive, he scored the game-winning touchdown against Dallas. What a way to set the record, Terry. Now, if you want to hear more about your favorite Washington Commanders in the playoffs, stay right here, because Logan and I will be right back to talk about the upcoming matchups we can't wait to see today on The Game Plan. Welcome back into The Game Plan, Commanders family. I have great news for you. We have Commanders content going out every day this week. That's Monday through Friday. We have podcasts, shows, press conferences, and so much more. Be sure to subscribe to the Commanders YouTube page and turn on the bell so that you get notified every time we post. Now, it's time for your Ticket to a Win, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Commanders family, as always, your ticket to a win are these must-watch matchups. Logan, as usual, you only got 60 seconds, brother. I ain't gonna waste no time. The first one, Jaden Daniels versus the mind of Todd Bowles in this defense.
Yeah, so to me, this all comes down to pressure. Todd Bowles wants the pressure on first down. He wants the pressure on third down. He's really good at it. They're the second in the league in terms of unblocked pressures. How does Jaden Daniels handle that? We saw him scramble around the first matchup, how we've seen these opportunities on the field. This, to me, is one that's going to dictate this game.
Big test for JD5. Next up, we got the Wild Boars taking on Vita Vea and those big guys up front for Tampa Bay.
And to me, this is really, really kind of the crux of it because these guys want to stop the run. Yeah. We want to win the football, and it's really a battle of wills. And hopefully Cliff Kingsbury can help these guys be the best version of themselves because this is a tough matchup for sure.
One of the best rushing defenses in the NFL. Last but not least, Logan, Bobby Wagner versus Bucky Irving.
Yeah, to me, this is it because this is really the driver of their offense now. He does a great job in terms of finding explosive opportunity. He's really increased their rushing efficiency, and he's got to lead the defense, right? Because they're going to motion, they're going to shift and do all sorts of crazy stuff. He's got to get everybody lined up, and I think he can.
These are your must-watch matchups for today's playoff game. For head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen, I'm Bryan Colbert Jr., and this is the game plan. Let's get this win in the playoffs, baby. Yeah.